time and again, Donald Trump has declared that he is the world's best negotiator, or he's one of the best negotiators in the world. But something that he's doing lately to try to get the Democrats to come to the table and work with him on a repeal of the Affordable Care Act is incredibly perplexing. He is trying to have some sort of leverage in order to persuade Democrats to join in with him to repeal the Affordable Care Act, even though there's no replacement whatsoever. But what he's doing is odd. So, according to the Huffington Post, President Donald Trump is contemplating a new strategy to get repeal of the Affordable Care Act through Congress, threatening to torpedo insurance for millions of Americans unless Democrats agree to negotiate with him. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal that appeared on Wednesday, Trump made a warning. If Democrats won't talk repeal, the president said, Republicans might decide to cut off some subsidies now flowing to health insurers offering coverage through Obamacare's exchanges. I don't want people to get hurt, Trump said, sounding a bit like a mobster describing a protection racket. What I think should happen and will happen is the Democrats will start calling me and negotiating. Those subsidies are a really big deal. Without them, insurers would have to jack up premiums by an average of 19% for typical policies, according to a Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation study. That increase would be above and beyond any other increases in the works. Many insurers would probably exit the markets altogether. Okay, so I had to read this multiple times because his strategy is so stupid that it didn't make sense to me. Like, I thought I was missing something here, but I don't think I am. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but first, let's address what he's trying to do. He's trying to play politics with the lives of citizens, because by repealing this subsidy, which he does have the authority to do, the one in particular that he is talking about, people would not be able to afford their insurance. I mean, if it spikes by 19%, people would lose their insurance, and if someone gets sick who lost their insurance, they either go bankrupt or they die. So Donald Trump is willing to play politics with the lives of American citizens who he's supposed to be representing and looking out for. So that's grotesque in and of itself, but think about how bereft of strategy this really is. It makes no sense. He's saying, hey, if you guys really want to save this subsidy, then you need to come to the table and negotiate a repeal of the Affordable Care Act with me. However, if you do come to the table and repeal the Affordable Care Act, then this subsidy will go away that way too, but you'll get blamed for it. So they have absolutely no incentive to get on board with this and negotiate with you, because if they just allow you to repeal this subsidy and people lose their insurance, then you'll have the blood on your hands for this. But if they come to the table and actually work with you to repeal the Affordable Care Act, then they get blamed for it too. And the same subsidy will go away if you repeal the Affordable Care Act. So how is that leverage? How is that going to bring them to the table? That makes no sense. And it shows that you're not really that great of a negotiator after all, because in order to negotiate with someone, you actually have to have leverage over them. But if you're saying, hey, come take away this thing, or I'm going to take it away first, they have no incentive to come to the table with you and then get blamed for it. So this is incredibly dumb. Now, a bit more about this subsidy. The payments are called cost-sharing reductions, or CSRs. They reimburse insurers for the expense of providing special insurance plans with lower out-of-pocket costs to customers with outcomes below 250% of the poverty line, or $61,500 for a family of 4. Now, the Affordable Care Act doesn't actually appropriate money for this subsidy, but Obama still dispersed money for it anyway, which is just one of the many failures of the Affordable Care Act. But Republicans actually sued the Obama administration, and they claimed that this was unconstitutional, and a U.S. District Court judge took their side. So there is a chance that this subsidy will be going away anyway, but Trump is saying, you know what, I'm going to repeal this subsidy sooner. So Donald Trump has no strategy. He has resorted to throwing a temper tantrum in order to get Democrats to come to the table. It makes no sense. All you're doing is stripping away a subsidy sooner than if you were to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And furthermore, you have no replacement for the Affordable Care Act, Trump. So literally, by just repealing the Affordable Care Act and not replacing it, what happens? All the people that got the Obamacare subsidy, anyone who benefited from the Medicare expansion, or the Medicaid expansion, they will be thrown off their health insurance. Why would Democrats take the fall for you? Because if they come to the table, they take the fall for you effectively. They have no incentive to do that. So The world's best negotiator has resorted to throwing a temper tantrum. If this is how you do business and how you did business as a businessman, then it's no wonder why you went bankrupt, because this is no strategy. And furthermore, to still push the envelope when it comes to Obamacare and repealing this, you're just going to throw people off of their health insurance. And if political science research has told us anything, it's that you can't take away a social safety net program after you've given it to people. That's not acceptable. That's not how you cultivate legitimacy. That's not how you generate public support. So if Donald Trump does this, he will be widely unpopular because support for the Affordable Care Act is increasing. So what we need to do now is just amend it and make it better. Fix it. Take that Medicare expansion and expand it to everyone, and then you fix it. We end this healthcare debate forever. We implement Bernie care. But Trump doesn't want to do that because he's a corrupt buffoon, and he doesn't want the American people to actually have healthcare coverage because he's shown that he has contempt for us. He doesn't just not care about us, which would be one thing. He actually hates us. He thinks about us as peasants, and this is what I've hypothesized before. And in trying to do this strategy, in trying to hold the healthcare of millions of Americans hostage, he's proving me right.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.